The scent of blood hangs heavy in the humid air. A coppery ghost that clings to the giant ferns and refuses to dissipate. Kale presses himself flat against the damp earth behind a fallen psycho, his knuckles white around the sharpened femur he calls a spear. Below, in the clan's meager clearing, the aftermath is a study in brutal efficiency. The Deinonychus pack struck just after the second sun, as they always do. They are not mindless monsters. They are strategists. One feigns an attack from the north, drawing the strongest of the clan's defenders, while the rest, a whirlwind of feathers and sickle-claws, slice through the thorn-branch barricade from the west. They are gone now, vanish back into the primeval green, leaving behind a fewer of careless kin in taking with them the last of the salted lizard meat. The silence they lead is worse than their shrieks. It is a silence filled with the quiet weeping of a gnaw, the clan mine's mother, and the gnawing hunger in every belly. These are the last days of the Sky Minus Cave people, a dwindling band of Homo Habilis in a world that belongs to titans. Their nascent intelligence, their clumsy use of ancient tools, is a flickering candle in a hurricane of teeth and claws. On his eyes, old and clouded with loss, find careless. She does not speak. She does not need to. Her gesture is a slight, weary flick of the head towards the deep jungle, towards the forbidden territories where the truly great beasts walk. Find something. Find anything. A new cave. A carcass big enough to feed the survivors. A miracle. Kale understands the command. It is a death sentence, but staying is also a death sentence. Just a slower one. He gives a single sharp nod, his face a mask of hardened resolve. These human ancestors know no other way. Survival is a series of impossible choices, a constant forward momentum against a tide of extinction. He slips away from the clearing, a small, fur-clad shadow moving with practiced silence, his very existence a testament to the desperate survival skills honed by a million years of being hunted. For 2 cycles of the sun, he finds nothing. The smaller game has been hunted to scarcity, and the larger herbivores are guarded by creatures Kale cannot fight. He chews on bitter roots and drinks from cupped leaves, his hunger a physical pain. On the 3rd day, desperation leads him to the edge of the Whispering Swamp, a place the clan shuns. Here, the air is thick with the buzz of monstrous insects and the stench of decay. Hidden within a knot of mangrove-like trees, he spots them, the pack, the same 6 Deinonychus, their rust-colored feathers matted with old blood, are stalking alone. Juvenile heterosaur, Kale's heart hammers against his ribs. He watches, a horrified student of prehistoric life, as they coordinate with terrifying precision. They flow around their prey like a river of death, cutting off its escape routes. The sickle-claw of the alpha flashes. The kill is imminent. Then, the world changes. A sound begins, not in his ears, but in his bones. It is a deep, resonant moan, a trombone call from the throat of ancient earth itself. A herd of Parasaurolophus emerges from the tree line. Their magnificent, hollow crests pointed to the sky. They are simply passing through. Their calls a form of low-frequency communication, but the effect on the Deinonychus is immediate and shocking. The raptors halt their attack. They twitch, shaking their heads as if trying to dislodge a swarm of invisible insects. Their predatory focus shatters. One lets out a pained, high-pitched screech and backs away, clawing at the side of its own head. The alpha, disoriented and furious, abandons the hunt. The pack dissolves into confusion and retreats into the jungle, repelled not by a physical threat, but by the vibrating air. Kale stays frozen, his mind struggling to process what he has seen. The giants were not attacking. They were just talking, and their talk was a weapon. He returns not with meat, but with a ghost of an idea. Kale stumbles into the clearing, gaunt and fever mind aside, and collapses near the dying fire. The clan gathers, their faces etched with the dull hope that he carries food. He has none. Instead, he grabs a charred stick and begins to draw in the dust. His hands shake, but his intent is clear. He scratches the vicious, sickle-clawed form of a Deinonychus. Then, beside it, he draws a larger creature, tall and strange, with a great, curving horn sweeping back from its head. The others murmur, recognizing the shape of the Parasaurolophus. The horn minus heads. They are peaceful, but their size makes them a force of nature, a living avalanche to be avoided. Kale is not during a hunt. He opens his mouth and makes a sound, a low rumble from deep in his chest, mimicking the call he heard with the stick. He draws vibrating lines emanating from the horn minus head's crest, lines that cross the clearing and touch the raptor. Then, he scrubs the drawing of the Deinonychus from the earth. Confusion, then scorn. Old T.H.R.A.K. His arm still bandaged from a raptor's claw, spits on the ground. He points at the drawing, then at his own head, tapping it to signify madness. Lure the giants to their own home. It is suicide. But enough. The clan minus mother sees the frantic conviction in Kayla's eyes. She sees more than a mad drawing. She sees the desperate spark of a new thought. A leap of logic that is the hallmark of their kind. The very thing that separates them from the beasts. Their limited Homo Habilis brains are wrestling with a concept that has never before existed. Symbiosis by design. She looks at the two remaining children. Their bellies bloated with hunger. The old ways are failing. This is the law of the prehistoric world. Adapt or be erased. Her gaze silences T.H.R.A.K. She points a trembling finger at Kayla's drawing, and then towards the valley north of their cave. Her decision is made. The clan will attempt the impossible. The plan requires a lure, something the great herbivores desire more than the endless green monotony of fern and cycad. Cal knows of such a thing, the sun minus fungus, a sweet, golden lichen that grows only on the high ledges of the Red Canyon, a place jealously guarded by a grumpy bull triceratops. It is another suicidal mission, a thread pulled from a tapestry of certain death. Yet, two of the clan's swiftest runners, a young pair named Dlu and Nori, volunteer. Their altruism is not born of heroism, but of grim necessity. They are the expendable, armed with nothing but sharpened antlers and woven vine nets, crude examples of osteodontocratic technology. They set out at dusk. The clan waits through a night and a day, a tense, silent vigil. They return battered and bruised, Nori with a deep gore wound in her thigh from a glancing blow. But in their nets are clumps of the precious, aromatic fungus. The gambit is on. They lay a trail, a fragrant path leading from the Parasaurolophus grazing lands directly into the mouth of the narrow valley beside their camp. As dusk paints the sky in shades of blood and fire, Kale and T.H.R.A.K. take up torches. They do not mean to scare the beasts, but to guide them, to create a corridor of light and shadow that will funnel the river of flesh. Soon, the ground begins to tremble. Halo. Collective moan echoes through the trees. They are coming. The clan presses themselves into the crevices of the rock face, becoming stone, as the first of the giants lumbers into view, its massive head lowered to sniff at the irresistible trail. The ground shudders as the last of the Parasaurolophus herd files into the narrow valley. The clan, pressed into the rockfall at the valley's end, is dwarfed by their new neighbors. They are a wall of scaled flesh, their musky scent overpowering the familiar smell of damp earth and wood smoke. The air itself seems to hum with their presence, a latent power held in reserve. For a moment, a terrifying peace settles. The giants graze placidly on the scattered sun minus fungus, their long, tubular crests silhouetted against the twin moons. The plan, in its terrifying audacity, has worked. But, as the last of the moonlight is devoured by storm clouds, they come, yellow eyes, pairs of them, materialize in the darkness at the valley entrance. The Deinonychus pack has returned. They do not shriek or charge. They are masters of the psychological hunt. Their silence a weapon in itself. They flow around the mouth of the valley, specters of hunger testing the strange new barrier. A low growl ripples through the pack. The alpha, a scarred veteran of countless hunts, takes a bold step forward, then another, slipping between the legs of a grazing Parasaurolophus. The giant barely registers its presence, shifting its immense weight with placid indifference. Kayla's heart sinks. The horn-minus heads are not afraid. They perceive no threat. And so the sonic defense, the clan's only hope, remains silent. The raptors have called their bluff. The clan is trapped in a cage of their own making, cornered by their indifferent saviors and their relentless executioners. Thrik grips his spear, his face a grim mask of acceptance. They have traded a quick death for a draw-out one. But Anon watches Kale. She sees the gears turning behind his eyes. The frantic calculation that is their species' greatest gift. This is the crucible of human evolution. A moment where intellect must conquer instinct. He understands. The sound is not a passive shield. It is a response. A weapon that must be triggered. Kale snatches a burning brand from the fire. Before anyone can stop him, he breaks cover. He runs. A tiny, desperate figure, not at the raptors, but towards the towering matriarch of the Parasaurolophus herd. He lets out a raw, primal scream and hurls the torch. It doesn't strike her. It lands on the ground a few feet from her massive legs, sputtering in the damp grass. The sudden movement, the alien cry, the flash of fire, it is enough. The matriarch jerks her head up, startled and alarmed. She inflates her throat and unleashes a blast of sound that is felt more than heard. It is a wave of pure pressure, a bone-minus jarring blast of infrosted from the intricate resonating chambers of her hollow crest. Instantly, the rest of the herd joins in, a deafening, terrifying chorus that distorts the very air. The effect on the Deinonychus is catastrophic. Their sensitive hearing, so finely tuned for the hunt, becomes their undoing. They shriek, clawing at their skulls. Their coordinated attack dissolves into a mad scramble of individuals, blinded by pain and confusion. The alpha tumbles, foams, and flees, its pack scattering into the jungle. The sonic weapon has been fired. As the cacophony subsides, the clan huddles together, ears ringing, hearts pounding. They are trembling, terrified, but alive. They stare at the giant, placid beasts who have unknowingly become their salvation, a living instrument in the first orchestra of survival. The echoes fade, leaving only the ringing in their ears and the steady rhythm of the giant's breathing. In the quiet that follows, something fundamental has shifted. The clan is no longer merely hiding in the cracks of a world ruled by monsters. They have looked upon the brutal machinery of this prehistory and found a lever. They have not conquered a beast with spear or stone, but with intellect, they have orchestrated a defense, turning the very biology of a titan into a shield. This single act, born of desperation and a flash of insight, is more significant than any hunt. It is a silent declaration of a new kind of power. This is the unwritten archaeology of the human mind, digging the first foundations of strategy and foresight from the bedrock of fear. The future of these ancient humans is no more certain than it was yesterday, but its nature has changed. They are no longer just surviving. They are beginning to think. They are learning to conduct the terrible symphony of their world. How many such desperate gambles? How many forgotten sparks of genius in the face of impossible odds were the true catalysts for our ascent? The story of humanity is not written in the fossils of our bones, but in the ghostly echoes of the moments we first refused to be prey. This has been an alternate prehistory survival chronicle. And in the deepest, uncharted jungles, a different clan learns a different lesson, that the spit of a Dilophosaurus is not just a weapon, but a poison that can be harvested.